up that coin slot.
Hey, boy, what you doing?
Experimenting with my butt.
My little Einstein.
Hello, world. This is Chris Aballo's podcast experiment, and I am Chris Aballo. Welcome to the show where I'm joined once again by the members, the most important members, frankly, of the only podcast that matters, Jack DeFranco.
Hello again.
Ryan Taggart.
Hey, how you doing?
And Andrew RIZZITELLO.
What up, what up, what up?
We're back for round two. Round two of three in this little celebration we're doing of the 10th anniversary of the only podcast. And, well, last week went so well that we couldn't wait to do it again. So here we are.
Right. No, seriously, I couldn't wait to do it again here, this place. Again, we are back at Shared Universe.
Shared Universe Podcast Studio.
This place is excellent. Thank you all. And just like last week, this time we have Ming, Mr. Ming Chen.
That's right.
Behind the board.
Yes. Round of applause. He's like, I'm writing an email. Please leave me alone. I don't want to be part of your dopey show.
Just do your podcast. You are the last. Get the fuck out of my studio.
Yeah. I got to go home after this. I saw what you did to Mike last week. But, yeah, we were very excited to be back. In fact, and this is funny, I actually wanted to ask how it went last week because we were here and then we hung out in the parking lot for basically 2 hours after we finished.
Well, yeah, at least an hour, yeah.
Yeah, you were there for a good hour.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, as opposed to you guys, and not this isn't an insult, like I have to physically still show up for work.
Here it comes.
You're closer to me, Jack. I will punch you.
I work in the morning.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, like, you know, I know Ryan and Jack work from home. Chris, I still don't know what you do right
that's
now.
So modest. You're so modest.
That's being generous.
What would you say you do here?
That was a pop. I apologize. But like I physically have to show up for work still. So yes, I did have to wake. I did have to wake up a little bit earlier.
But did you catch any flack from the wife because you got home at like?
I got a message going, "Don't you have work tomorrow?" And I just didn't answer.
She knows you too. That's why. Yeah. She's like, he would have been in bed for an hour. What's going on?
Well, he's been abducted or he's dead.
Yeah,
yeah, well, with you guys, yes. Abducted is the correct word.
Well, that's the funniest thing. And I didn't think, Ryan, I assume you probably didn't get in any trouble. Did you get any lip about getting home super late?
Barely.
Really?
She asked me the next day when I got home. I was like, it was almost like 1 o'clock. She's like, ugh, Ryan. that was the end of it. Like, it wasn't anything.
It's a good thing we're not like whoremongers and drug addicts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It would be bad.
Because it would be, yeah.
We had extracurricular activities.
Right. Well, that's it. Like, we're so safe around each other because we're not that.
We're not
dangerous.
that, yeah.
Like we're just
friggin'
not
dorks. We're not doing
exactly.
anything.
I
was like, you know how it is. We bullshit for hours at a time, and whenever something ends, it doesn't really end.
It's appropriate that we're in a studio that has a connection to Kevin Smith because we're so dialogue driven.
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously.
Well, I mean, listen, that's what the podcast medium is all about.
Yeah, exactly. So our wives, girlfriends.
Oral.
Well, wives, girlfriends. They don't have to care that we're out there like, yo, let's go get some blow and snort it off a hooker's ass.
And we're also not at the groupie level yet either.
Oh, absolutely not. Unless somebody's not saying something. I mean, come on.
We'll see what happens. But, as the show continues to grow, and as we keep telling everybody where we are, even if not when.
Yeah, they're going to find the place. I got Google.
Yeah. It's going to be like a backstage at a Stone show in the 70s.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You have high ambitions, don't you?
Listen, it doesn't hurt because we all know if chicks get into it, dudes get into it. So listen, if they're watching, if they're listening, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's your fan base. You need women first.
That's it. Women first.
As bad as that sounds.
Well, it's true. Women first, men follow.
So here's a little segue for you.
Sure.
One of my buddies, smoker, obviously, and because of quarantine and
his
COVID,
name is Smoker, or he is a smoker?
His name is,
it's like,
I mean, both.
Smoker, obviously.
Johnny Smoker.
But because of quarantine, his particular apartment complex tells everyone now you have to go further away from your front door to smoke if you want to smoke
Does he have to go across the street like high school?
Almost, yeah. He has to go by the dumpster. Like, he has to stand over by where their dumpsters are. So he's outside and he's smoking. He's by the dumpster. He looks down and someone must have moved out or their parents died and the kids are cleaning out, kind of something like that. And he found a box full of vinyl. I grabbed Women and Children First from Van Halen.
Right.
And Yes Songs from Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Dark Side was in there. Aqualung.
Who's abandoning this stuff? That's what I
what
want to know.
That's what everyone was saying. Like, what the hell are you? And they're used. Obviously, the guy had put use into them.
Yeah,
but
they're 40 plus years old.
But they're not as bad as you would think they would be. Like, I've seen 40-year-old records where it's like you can't open them because it cuts so delicate.
Yeah, it's like someone took a leak on them and left them out in the sun.
Yeah. No, these are obviously the edges are worn and stuff, but like, what did he open up? I don't remember what record he opened up, but like, I think it was Elton John. It might have been an Elton John record. And there were still like papers in there that you got from buying it original that like have
like join the Elton John fan club.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm like, dude, this is money.
Yeah.
Like, someone would pay
Some
for
people
this.
are so aloof with stuff like that and collectibles. Like, I just threw it out.
He found it and like everything from I
I want to compile a list for my parents and be like,
Jack's dad.
My dad and my aunt who threw out
all your wrestling toys.
No, my cousin was into wrestling when I was younger and had all the old Hasbro figures. And I loved those. And then when I got into wrestling, I'm like, can I have those? Like, we threw them out years ago. Now they're worth like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Just loose figures, no less.
Yes.
Like, people still want them. I mean, that's like, there was a place that we haven't been to yet. I sent a bunch of photos and teased Jack and Ryan about them. Just saying, like, we're going to go to this place not too far from me, which had a bunch of toys, literally original Star Wars toys from the 70s.
Wow. Like that Yoda that we saw?
But brand new, like still sealed up. Like, you bought them. Yeah, exactly. Someone they were
Yoda is $400.
That's cheap compared to some of them. Yeah. Oh my god.
They were selling I think it was an estate. I think it was that their parents had the house and they were selling the house and moving to Florida and they just want to get rid of stuff. And this store just opened.
Care.
They didn't know what they had, but they literally walked out with
problem. A lot of them
tens of thousands of dollars because the guys knew, like, we will sell it for so much more, but we are going to give them a fair price. But they're just oblivious that they've had these toys for 40 plus years in a box in the basement, the attic. I mean, they like condition wise, they don't look warped or anything.
Right. There's
so
a
they
little
must
fraying
have been
maybe or something like that.
I mean, they are aged. I mean,
it's wear and tear, like sitting in a basement or a crawl space.
Right. And that's how the records were that this guy found.
Right.
Like, obviously the guy was a fan of music. He liked playing these records. So they have, fingerprints and grease and whatever else on there. He had like every Who album. He had Tommy. He had Quadrophenia. He had Dark Side of the Moon from Floyd.
Right.
He had he had a couple other Broadway kind of stuff. Temptations, things like that.
Nice.
But still,
a gold mine, regardless.
I'm guessing you took Cats in Miss Saigon as well, because
only Miss Saigon. The Cats was a little warped. Phantom though.
I already got
Phantom.
Cats. Memory. I'm still waiting for that butthole cut of the movie that came out. What? By the way, if anybody's wondering, yes, we realize the show is going up the day before the election, but we're not talking about that because there's going to be an inevitable point where when we know the result, and we won't for a little while, just realistically, I'm sure we're going to end up talking about it when it happens, but we're going to be inundated with everything around the election this week. We're just going to have some fun. So if you're looking for that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a different election than ever before
because
of the amount of mail-in. And hell, just as of this recording, over 70% of the population has voted by mail already.
And early voting is off the charts.
That's what I mean.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, in-person early voting is already like 40% of the total.
We've been saying for months now that this is a completely
the end of times.
Well, that too. But
I mean, according to Pat Robertson, if the president gets a second term, that dude's got has had one foot in the grave for like 20 years. So
he's playing a game with death right now. Speaking of death,
you may notice the cool, refreshing cans of liquid death we have right in front of us.
The most metal water ever.
Yes, especially for us.
Ryan got his cherry pop tonight with the liquid death.
First time I've had water.
Since this began, over 7 months, Ryan's been living on beer and prescription pills.
What else is there, really?
Well, it explains
For our age, nothing.
explains a lot, if nothing else.
Yeah.
But so like when we know what happens with I'm sure we're gonna end up talking about it. And frankly, it's even something I struggled with, and I asked you guys about last week. Like, do you want to talk about it next week? We're gonna end up, and the consensus was we're gonna end up talking about it when we know who wins anyway. Just because it's the only reason I even considered it is because it was a couple of weeks ago. I actually read an interesting BuzzFeed article, which is soming I never thought I'd say, by the way.
I was going to say, like,
it was
what?
Yeah, interesting BuzzFeed article on Fun Root Canal, or the top 2.
Yeah.
Never expected
Hold
I
on,
was gonna.
let's get the stereotype right. Was it a top 10?
It was not a list.
Oh,
Something on BuzzFeed that's not a list.
Yeah, you must have been digging.
Well, that's why it stuck out. That's what I'm saying. But it was the idea that now it's gotten to a point, once upon a time, which isn't that long ago, and I know we all bristle at the word influencer, but there was a point when influencers did not talk about things that were topical, did not take a political position.
Themselves.
They didn't talk about what was going on socially. Right. That was not their brand. But now, basically, if they're influencers who don't address social issues or aren't talking about the election, they're kind of viewed as being out of touch. And people aren't interested in people who are just talking about themselves. They want them to be talking about what's going on in American culture.
Just think about that term, influencer.
Yeah.
You know, like,
which is anybody.
It is, but really it goes to those people that have millions of followers, whether it be on whatever the social media is. And like, you know, you've gotten to a point, you started like Matt Best, for instance, from Black Rifle Coffee. When the quarantine happened, he made a song, and I don't remember the artist he went with, but he made a song called Quarantine. It's a catchy little tune. It has nothing to do political or anything like that, but it was shared viral. It's hilarious. I'll play it for you guys later.
I think you sent it to me, actually. I'm pretty sure I heard it.
But either way, like that's the type of thing that, at least in my mind, if it's topical.
Sure.
You know, he doesn't really play either side of the field politically. He makes a crack here and there about like owning a gun or going hunting, but he doesn't blatantly come out and say, you know, oh, Trump will solve everything. You know,
or it's time for a change. He's not taking a position.
No.
Well, it's interesting because I kind of get why. And again, not getting into an election talk. We got far more silly things to get to. Don't worry. But
Me too.
It's common culture right now. And there isn't a whole lot of that going on because there aren't really any shows everybody's watching. There are no movies people are flocking to go see.
Entertainment is not there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
Except for us.
Isn't it? We're here. Tell your friends, everybody. Like, make sure you go and tell 6 friends about. Anyway, but it is what's going on. Like, we haven't really had that in a while, and I think that's been the appeal in the last few years of like the People versus O.J. Simpson, where it's like, wow, remember when that was every day that dominated for like,
oh my God,
2 years?
That was 8th grade for me.
Right.
Like,
that
was 8th grade.
There was a point when it was constantly. It was so in your face on a daily basis. And I feel like in the internet age, and once everything, you know, technology kind of spread things out and kind of democratized entertainment and information and everything, there isn't a whole lot of common culture. And that, frankly, is where we are right now, is what's going on in American, in America, politically and culturally.
This is the biggest show right now. That's what it is.
It is.
I can't wait until it's over.
It's not. I wish it was going to be.
I think I could speak for all of us when I say to all the social media ads, yes, I'm registered to vote. Yes, I fucking voted. Now leave me alone.
Every time I open Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook,
anything.
Are you registered to vote? Yes.
Hey, you registered to vote?
Facebook, you spy on everything. You know I'm registered to vote.
It's funny too because like someone put through a picture saying like, this is how you turn it off. So I did. I'm still getting the fucking ads. And I've already voted. Zuckerberg, I voted already. I'm done.
Yeah, you getting this? Holy shit.
No, it's absolutely
it doesn't stop.
annoying.
I can't wait until it stops.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like that the idea of just the election, and it felt like everybody had fatigue in 2016, and now everything's ratcheted up so much that people are more invested kind of on one way or the other because we become a very binary culture.
Oh my God.
But I still feel like everyone's going to be so tired by the end of this, even though nothing's going to change except the person. Like the two divides are still going to be like the two divided sides, I should say, are still going to be there. But it got me thinking, and even with regard to, you know, the pandemic, which is still ongoing. But I kind of wondered about this because I haven't consciously watched a bunch of movies like this lately, but with Halloween and everything, and frankly, just playing catch up with some movies I haven't seen in a while or have never seen. Like I haven't seen 28 Days Later in a while. Just watched World War Z for the first time, and it wasn't because of what's going on. It was just movies I was interested in seeing for the first time or again. And I've never seen an episode of The Walking Dead. And
for shame.
Well,
don't worry.
Leave the studio, right?
Well, the thing is, it's one of those shows everybody's bailed on at a certain point. Like there have been so many, and Jack and I talked about this, that for a while, there's so many shows people are jumping ship on, Walking Dead or Lost or Dexter or, everybody loved Game of Thrones until the last season. Like there's a whole thing of like people are getting tired of shows at a certain point. But I haven't watched it because so many people have bailed out. I kept saying, okay, when I'm over my zombie fatigue, I will go back and watch The Walking Dead. But there's a point when people just say, just don't even bother because it takes a turn. And so many, like that's what I mean.
hung on for like I don't know 7-8 seasons. And
Sherry was the last holdout.
Yeah,
it is.
Wow,
it's going to go like 11 seasons before it's done. I think.
Pretty much.
And this is Walking Dead, not Fear.
Walking Dead.
Well, and there's a new spinoff that just launched too. So they're just beating the shit out of Walking Dead.
I put on one of the Halloween sequels the other night. Like, there's another one? Like,
But
hold on, let me suck the last bit of this fucking cash cow out.
Well, that's it. Like AMC is, listen, this is our bread and butter. We're just going to keep making seasons of this. But the idea for me, and having not seen the show, so I will admit my ignorance when it comes to this, but I was saying to Sherry, as somebody who gave up at like season 9, I think at the point when Rick left the show, she was just out. I think at that point, and Negan was no longer a tough guy. I mean, again, just from what she's told me, I have to pay attention to my relationship anyway, which is not saying much. But when it comes to something I don't watch, I got to be honest, I don't retain everything.
Oh, my wife does that too, where she explains something to me, and you just like that. It's like that scene in the movie, you just tune out and you just hear a song, and you're just like,
wah, 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 wah,
that sounds great.
You're such a good husband, Jack.
Or like a steam whistle blowing. Like I don't hear words at this point.
Your wife doesn't watch housewife shows and stuff like that. So sometimes they fight, and then it's this, and I'm like,
really? I thought all they do is fight. Sometimes
that's all they do.
That kind of, it seems like the crux of the show is them fighting. But anyway, so I said to Sherry, look, there's a point when if you're 9-10 years into the zombie apocalypse and you're still looking for food and shelter and you're fighting zombies, I feel like I'd give up at a point. Because I would feel like it would be kind of hopeless, especially with, I mean, as she explained to me, and frankly, this kind of ratcheted up my thoughts on it, I was thinking, because she said, well, they find communities and they're finding people and everything, but the problem is,
season though, it's like every season, it's like we found the place, and then it's the place is bad.
Well, that's right.
The other season's on the run, and they didn't find a place, and then they run away. And
she said that, like, the problem is the people they run into. Like, the conflict is more about dealing with people than dealing with zombies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, but there's a point where I would think if it's going to go on like this, I mean, right now everybody's saying, back to normal, back to real life, and it's not what's going on isn't as severe as a fictional zombie apocalypse.
Well, as much as Ryan wanted it to be.
This has been proof he could not handle it. He couldn't
be the powers out the whole time of the zombie
because unless you think you're going to find a cure for zombie, like what's the point of living?
Honestly, that's what I'm asking. How long do you think
it's going to be this forever, dodging zombies and rival gangs? What's the fucking point?
Would you take yourself out at a certain, like day one, or would you give it like 2 years?
Maybe not day one.
We're going to bounce back.
Yeah, there'd probably be a point where I'm like, all right.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, okay, humanity's not coming back from this. The zombies keep coming. I'm losing my faith in the non-turned humans that are left. I feel like I'd give up and maybe give it 2-3 years.
You'd think in a situation like that, the humans that are left would all band together for survival, but they don't.
You would think
they're all the same greedy assholes that existed before.
That's exactly what I mean. It becomes more tribal, and it turns our way of life on its head in a way that we can fathom it as much as we've seen it depicted in TV and in movies. But in general, I feel like actually living that way day to day, I feel like I can only take so much. Where do you guys land on? Would you hang in there, or would you kill yourselves?
I give it a good 3 years.
There'd be a little bit of time, like Ryan said, not day one, but there'd be a little bit of time, and then at some point, I'd be like, "Yeah, this is hopeless."
Well, the interesting thing is, you're the most armed of all of us. I think you'd have fun for a while.
He'd give it a
before
shot.
Giving up.
so to speak.
Couple
for a while.
All the distilleries have run dry. I'm out of bullets.
Goodbye, cruel world.
Yeah.
Goodbye, cruel world. I can't even shoot myself. What the fuck is this?
There's no more importing cigars from Cuba.
No, you have to
I'm outta
fucking
here.
sail down there. God
You just
damn
have
it.
one. You just have one in your wallet. Here we go.
Yeah,
Cell
right.
phones don't work.
It has my name on it.
I've yet to be able to properly cook a steak over a fire.
Goddamn zombies smell the steak.
Can't play Candy Crush anymore.
What?
Yeah, no signal. There's no new levels being added.
I was on
because
level
there's
734.
Well, I thought about because spoiler if for some reason you haven't seen World War Z, and frankly you probably don't. I mean, I got to it late and didn't really know what happened, but I'm going to spoil it for you if you wanted to see it and haven't yet. But the idea is at the end they go to, I believe it's Nova Scotia, and they kind of have a community and they're on the water. So first of all, the zombies are coming from one direction. You'll hear them splashing, so that's helpful. But also the idea that there's like a community.
All I can think of is like a Plants vs. Zombies scene.
Just a really slow.
Yeah, or like they got swimmies on.
They're just like,
This would be great if we had drops. We could just have some water flowing right now. It'd be really.
Yeah.
There you go. Even that, but they'd be moving too fast. That's like Resident Evil Infected, where they're like, where all of a sudden their performance enhanced, even though they're
oh
dead.
shit! It's zombie Michael
Yeah,
Phelps.
zombies are doing wind sprints. Yeah,
He's swimming like a dolphin, looking.
Literally.
It's beautiful.
yeah. Those kind of zombies always piss me off. I like the slow, stupid ones that, like, you'd have to be an idiot for them to actually catch you.
Right. Well, that's it. You're dead.
Yeah, like
I mean, it seems like the most. I don't know.
now they have like superpowers. I'm like, I can't get behind this.
So you weren't a Left 4 Dead fan then?
No, I like zombies that are like limping after you, and you
Hashtag
really
not my zombies.
Hashtag not my zombies. You have to have no will to live, or you're just stupid for this even a horde of them to catch you. Like, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
What's rule number 1? Cardio.
Cardio. Yeah.
Yeah, even that world. That's the funny thing about the sequel to that. Like, it was 10 years in by the time this sequel came out. And
Right.
in the movie, it took place 10 years later. And even watching that, as terrible of a movie as it was, I still said, I can't imagine I'd keep it up for 10 years. Like, that seems like that's such a long time to just be like, oh, we're still killing zombies and we're still looking for a place to live. I just don't know that I
got all this ammo.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, that's it. Endless
How
ammo.
much was the population decimated? Because that's obviously a factor.
That's a good question.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you're still looking for people. You're trying to find a safe haven for yourself or find where people are. I mean, that's kind of what happens in 28 Days Later is you're just looking for other groups of people who you can protect each other. And that's how they end up in the hands of this military group who's not, frankly, interested in protecting anybody because they kind of tricked them into going there. And but I feel like even if you got to a place where there was peace, I just feel like once that switch is flipped, you'd always be, even if you're in, a remote area, if you're in Nova Scotia, you'd still be like, I don't know if that I'd be so comfortable that I could think, well, zombies are never going to come here. We're fine now. I don't think that I'd ever go back to being like, everything's
Zombies
all right.
hate Canada.
To not be on high alert at all times. Yeah.
No, that's
Eventually,
what I mean. You
yeah.
would become hyper vigilant.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's it. And I feel like I have anxiety
As it is.
enough. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
thinking always being worried about being, bitten in my sleep or turning into a zombie.
Right.
Or not wanting to like Sherry and I have had that relationship conversation. I assume we've all
bite
had.
each other in sleep.
Wow. Tell
Oh,
me more.
you tagged
Don't
me.
have a OnlyFans yet? Well, I'm telling you, $15 a titty. That's like
That's awfully cheap. She's not flashing it for $30. It's going to be a lot more
you
than
got to
that.
start somewhere, man.
I did have that discussion with her, but
I bet you did.
I will share that with you off mic. Andrew wants to see your tits. What's it going to take?
Give me a number.
Which for what it's worth, her first answer was no, because I know Veronica would kill me. So,
Thank you.
but at the same time, considering your previous porn consumption, that I really don't think Veronica would be bothered by yet another set of tits you've laid your eyes on. Even if it was someone you know, I just don't know that
whatever.
she'd be that fazed by it.
Who is that? Is that Sherry? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be a full body shot or
No,
something like
no,
that.
no, no.
Now Veronica would be like, huh.
Yeah, exactly. That's her ebony to her ivory. I can get.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because I was thinking about a couple of things. I mean, with as I've been saying in previous weeks, I've been feeling a little. I don't know that it's nostalgic, but kind of just looking back in time and thinking about, wow, it's been 10 years since we started the only podcast and 10 years since I left my horrible big box retail store job and wanted to really actively pursue my creative ambitions. And also 20 years since I graduated high school. And it was, there was a lot, that I was thinking about and just thinking, wow, a lot of time has passed. And looking at how I'd be dealing with, obviously, the pandemic, if I were like 18 or if like my senior year was 2019, that kind of thing. Or I should say would have graduated in 2020, that kind of thing.
I do have, I don't want to say a soft spot, but I do feel for the seniors and the
I got a hard spot. You can see it on my OnlyFans. If you like it small and unsatisfying, subscribe to me on OnlyFans.
Do you want to be filled with mediocrity?
Unfortunately, Squirt Reynolds was taken, so you can look me up as Paul Screwman. What were you saying?
I don't even know now.
This is exactly what we were talking about. You don't have to do the show.
No, I don't.
He'll do it for you.
I think, is this my resignation show? I'm out here.
I hope not. You're such an easy target.
Thanks.
Man. I'm never going to put the jarred sauce the same way again. Or Cool Hand Luke.
Numb Hand Luke. Called the Stranger.
The Stranger.
Anyway.
Fucking knew it.
Well, here's what I was thinking about. I'm sorry. We'll get back to your soft spots in a second. But speaking of hard spots, so if it were now and you were like 18,
it's illegal.
No, you're 18. Okay, let's say 21, just because I don't know the OnlyFans terms and conditions, because I haven't signed up for one.
Neither do I.
Despite Andrew's encouragement.
I didn't say sign up. I said make one.
Okay, well, regardless, I don't know if it's like an 18 or 21. I don't know what the minimum is, and I don't care enough to look into it. But just as a what if scenario, right now it's like you've graduated high school. This is an option. Much more so than like getting into something like porn was an option circa 2000 or 2002 or what were you, 2004, Jack?
2004,
graduate.
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea that like you could go on somewhere anonymously and do whatever. It could be anonymously. I'm saying like not showing your face. You're literally just showing, your nethers and naughties. If you just went on anonymously, which frankly, we can do it now if we're being if we're real. But would you consider that? Because you could do it anonymously. It's something people are into now, in as much as people aren't dating or meeting people. And, there isn't that kind of interaction. People are single people, I'm sure, are starved sexually to some degree. And we've seen how subscriptions and all this have blown up. Andrew and I were talking about a couple weeks ago about the popularity of OnlyFans, how it's exploded over these last few months.
Yeah.
Is it something you guys would consider?
Like producing my own content?
Yeah.
No, I was never comfortable enough with my body to ever do anything like that.
Even anonymously?
Even anonymously. Yeah.
See, that's the thing, though. There's something for everyone out there. So,
no, I realize.
Like, as much as you might like not feel sexy,
Dude,
like someone out there is going to be like, God damn.
It doesn't matter. But
I love a dude's tongue like chapstick. You keep talking about it. Don't look at me like I'm saying something out of line. Shit.
No, but
especially if you're not showing your face. Like, I'd throw something up there. Someone's going to pay for this.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you give it a shot?
Yeah, if that was the way to make money.
Especially, I'm thinking being like 18 or 21, like being like still fit and trim.
Yeah, I looked a lot better than I do now.
Just physical. I'm not thinking now. I don't know this. There's probably a middle-aged market, lid for every pot, but I really don't know if it'd be something that's like that I would do now. But when I'm 18, I feel like I would really consider it. I can't say for sure I would do it, but at the same time,
yeah, but for you, I think it goes along the lines with the creativity aspect of it. As much as it's a sexual thing,
I'm coming with creative angles to show my dick.
Yes, yeah.
I'm doing penis puppetry. I'm buying outfits for it.
If you think about it, like you're 18 years old, you're going to be jerking off anyway. So why don't you put it on video?
Yeah.
Make some money off of it. Someone's going to watch it.
Exactly. Coming this Friday. CUMMING. Malibu dick. And it's like dressed up in little swim trunks.
Yeah, was it the Joker said, if you're good at something, never do it for free?
Well, hence why we're sitting here now literally paying to do this. It says a lot. Jack, what do you think?
Probably not.
You wouldn't even consider, even anonymously?
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to double down.
Oh, no.
What if, given our salubrious level from doing the podcast.
That's a $10 word.
Isn't it?
I don't even know what that means.
Okay, let's just say
Celebrity.
that because we have a certain profile, because our Q rating has gone up.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
No.
I'm at a loss. Let's say you're offered more money because of you're a public person now. You're on My Dopey Show. Mm-hmm. So if the offer was for a lot of money, would that? Well, you said you're down for it anyway, doing it independently. Would that entice either one of you? If it's like, listen, we can do an endorsement deal. We can guarantee 10 grand minimum per month that you want to keep this up. We're going to send you some toys. We're going to send you some penile outfits and different devices.
Yeah, if my face isn't on there.
They're
But even so,
French
even
ticklers.
I'd probably have a price for that though too.
Well, I'm saying 10 grand a month.
10 grand a month.
I mean, you were about to do it for like $9.99 a month.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have to work if I was making 10 grand
That's
a month
your
on
job.
something.
Think about it.
And if it was just me like showing my dick,
well,
without my face in the shot,
When you put it that way,
why
10
not?
grand can take care
That's
of
a lot of
things.
fucking money.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
You've been wasting all these years jerking off for free.
Yeah.
So why not turn it into a moneymaker is what I'm saying.
And I'm right behind you.
But if I'm serious, if I was
Not really.
if I was
Watch out, Chris.
if I was 18 or 21, I really think I would consider
Are you
doing
looking at
it.
his tramp stamp?
Is that something does that move the needle for you? Pardon the pun.
Yeah, sure.
Is it really like
Yeah,
10 grand a month?
If it's moved, back
Everybody's
to
got a
being-
price. Somebody said
Everyone's
that.
got a price.
Well, I asked you guys this. I think it was like the 3rd or 4th episode of The Only Podcast Matters that we ever did. I was like, what if we had an offer to do live nude, the only podcast that matters?
yeah.
What would you do it for? And I think Andrew said like $1,000. I should have gone back and listened to it. I'm very poor at research on the show. Jack had a price, and yours was whatever the balance of your student loans was at the time. So
okay. Yeah, that
which
makes
is
sense.
like I get it. Like sit on stage, but we can have like a cock sock is a technical name for it. I think.
Okay.
Like you didn't have to show it, but you just can't be wearing any clothes. Now, granted, 10 years ago, we would love to have those bodies again.
Yeah.
Sitting here right now.
Right.
I'm trying.
My 29-year-old body, I'm all for. But the idea of like somebody said, oh, we want to do Cape Live. We want the 4 of you. It's going to be a drive-in show, so you're not looking at people's faces. Everyone's going to honk their horns when they think shit's funny. And but you guys need to. You guys are going to wear cock socks, and you're going to have just mics on stands, so you got to stand there the entire time. So no hiding behind a desk or table like we're doing now.
I would absolutely do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you
For the
guys
right
land
price,
on this?
sure.
10 grand.
Okay.
Yeah, for a one-off. Yeah. Okay. You.
We're using our 10 previous years ago thing, or now?
No, now.
No.
I would do it now.
Really? 10 grand though.
Just 10 grand. I kind of
I
need
am
it. I've
still-
been out
yeah,
of work
I'm
since
still-
April. So.
No.
I mean, I don't know who would pay that amount of money for us to do something like that. But, I mean, if it were to ever happen,
I feel like I'm ripping people
Pornhub.
off.
why are you stalling like there's something like in the works?
It's a very rich man who hates his eyes, and that's why he wants to see us naked. Let's say it's like
I was like, Chris is about to tell us something.
let's just say
Well.
it's an effeminate Bruce Wayne who's like, I like the cut of your jib, and we'd be like, is that a circumcision joke? I'm like, no. I dig you guys, but I think the show would be much better naked and in front of an audience of cars.
What the fuck is going on in your head?
This idea spun out a little while ago, but
Like a Jeep show?
I'm having fun. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if it were
like a
all
peep
Jeeps in the audience, would you do it?
Yeah.
He would do it.
You could do the Jeep wave.
What would it be if he said, Andrew, what's your price? Like he's willing to go. Okay, let's play it out. I'm the rich guy who's making this offer, and you are you. Ready? Andrew, I understand you're not interested in the $10,000 offer we have on the table for doing the podcast live. Now, is it a matter of showing your body? Because I'll make it worth your while.
No. I'm not doing it.
All right,
20 grand.
Then the 3 of us
Don't care.
We split his 10 grand.
Yeah,
It's
give
more
it to
money
the other
for
guys.
us.
Is that it?
I will gladly laugh at the other guys on stage as they get honked at by fat Midwestern housewives. No,
We're making 10 plus grand, fucker. I don't give a damn.
I can't. I won't.
We're figuratively showing our ass on a weekly basis on a podcast, so I really don't
Yeah,
understand.
figuratively.
Yeah, but showing your dick is just it's an eyelash over from that in my mind.
And there'd be a
So-
sock over it.
No,
Yeah,
it's
like
more
that's
than
it.
It's
Like, you
more than an
wouldn't be-
eyelash.
How much money to take your shirt off right now? On camera.
I'm not taking my shirt off.
Okay. See,
Chris, do you have any money in your wallet?
I don't, but I'm trying to figure out like
I
where
don't take
his...
my shirt off when I go in a pool. Okay.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, you did? Oh, that was the one time he did. We actually saw Andrew shirtless once, and he made a big fucking deal out of it. Like it was like we'd never seen a man with a couple extra pounds on him before. We have fathers, but we were at Jack's dad's place because they had a pool because Jack grew up rich, and Andrew and Veronica came over one time, and Andrew's like, "No, I'm not going in." Veronica rather, "Oh, I'm not going in." Oh my god! I'm not. And we're like, "Okay," and Andrew was going to come in because Andrew won't swim in the pool in his apartment complex because ew. But
Do you disagree? Do you disagree?
no, I understand.
He's like,
I'm
no, I
saying,
get it.
I'd be like, listen, we know Mr. DeFranco keeps his shit clean and tidy. And it also looks very rustic and Old West in the backyard. There's cacti and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually kind of cool.
It's the watering hole.
So, the Rusty Wagon.
The Rusty
was
Wagon.
The name,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Because it's
Yes.
Russell DeFranco's joint.
It's like, hey, dude.
Yes.
There's been
Kinda.
cactuses there so long that now there's little ones growing out of the ground. It's like transformed the whole
Really?
like chemistry
I
of
believe it's
during the
cacti.
soil. Yeah.
I think it is cacti, right?
It is cacti.
Yeah.
Yeah. Multiple, yes.
Yeah. Wear
got-
shoes if I'm serious.
That's great.
That's funny
Yeah.
that they've actually like regenerated and
Yeah,
spread
it's like
throughout the.
it's been there for like 15 years, so they've just transformed the soil, and they're just like little ones popping up.
Why
but
do
it's
we-
dangerous? But it's like super small. Like
This sounds
really,
like a movie
Yeah.
premise.
well, frankly,
Like a really bad like D movie.
It's like
zombie cacti.
yeah.
Zombies versus cacti. They made zombie versus everything else.
Yeah.
Right?
oh, I have a funny story actually.
Well, hang on, we're not done with
hear
Andrew
it.
in the pool yet. Well, hold that thought.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Because this was pretty funny. But so there was like was it a changing room in the garage, or did we just change
It was
the garage?
just the
I don't
garage.
remember. It was just the garage. Okay, so we would change into our trunks and everything and go into the pool. And Jack and I were in the pool, and Andrew, of course, goes in last. And then he literally, before he comes out into I should say from the driveway into the backyard,
Covered himself.
yeah, he's like, okay, get ready, I'm coming out. I'm like, all right. As it was a big deal.
I really don't remember this.
You did, but you actually had to like prepare us.
Yeah.
Like, look out. I guess. Okay. And he just got in the pool and like we didn't remark about it. That's frankly, had you just come out and said nothing, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. It was just the idea that you had introduced. So clearly you have some hangups about, regardless of the weight, taking your shirt off.
I don't like my
Is it
body. I never like my body.
But is it a matter of fitness? Like if you had, let's say we put your head on Joe Manganiello's body, but you still had a chapstick penis, would you be down for doing the naked podcast? This is a legitimate question.
if I look like half Thor Bjornsson, yes, I'll do your naked
All right.
podcast.
All right, good. For 10 grand, though.
All right, well, you better
don't
get to
more.
work
No,
then.
I don't
man.
get any more. I'll take the 10 grand
you
if
don't
I look
get-
like half Thor Bjornsson.
There's no ab incentive.
No.
You better start hitting the fucking gym then, because we're doing this.
I mean, I'm not going to lie.
What's
Some,
the
You're not
guy-
gonna take my
what's the
money
guy's
from
name?
me.
Half Thor Bjorgensen? Is that what you said?
Yeah, half Thor Bjornsson. The mountain.
I don't.
who's this?
What?
The fucking
Oh, the guy from Game of Thrones?
the mountain. The actor.
Is his name
Oh,
Half
okay.
Thor?
Yeah,
Like,
it's half Thor. Yes.
I was talking about Deathstroke. I mean, and
Why not
No,
full
his-
True
Thor?
his-
Blood he was on. I don't know his True Blood name, but
no, his name is half Thor. I'm not even.
Okay, I didn't.
Yes, he's fucking sweet.
Not full Thor.
No, not full Thor.
Okay.
Half Thor.
no, that would be blasphemy.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
We named you after a god, I guess.
Half a god.
But well, our conversation about penises has driven me out of the room. He's like, this is too weird. This is too.
You guys will be coming back.
Keep saying chapstick penis. What
I
the
did not
fuck?
sign over. Like, why does he know so much about his friend's dick? Like, he keeps talking about it. What can I say? Well, with that, we are going to take a short gin break, apparently, because Andrew's like,
Intermission.
and if you're listening to the show and you're not driving, feel free to pour yourself a spirit and join us.
So we're drinking. This is Dogfish Head Compelling Gin. Dogfish Head, obviously known for their beers. This is the Compelling Gin.
And this is fishing for a sponsorship as well.
Well, I mean, if you're watching
the camera.
well, if you're watching the video and you're a
I'll get naked for you if you give me free gin.
New offer. No, go on.
so
Yeah, Dogfish Head is a classy place. They don't want that.
Yeah, that's true. They like dogfish heads, not penile heads. Go on.
I can't now, you fucks.
And
All right,
I lost it.
Let's give Andrew a couple of seconds. We've been hitting him pretty hard verbally tonight. So all right, go ahead.
No, so it's Dogfish Head Compelling Gin. Normally, I'm not a gin fan. Like your typical Tanquerays or London Dry or Beefeater, I'm not a fan of because, like Chris said, it tastes like Lysol and smells like Lysol.
It's rubbing alcohol.
It
yeah.
is. It's very rough, and it took me a while because I evolved. Ryan and I, got on the craft beer train around the same time. And from there, I went to the harder alcohols, vodka, whiskey, stuff like that.
Andrew evolved.
Yeah, right.
You're getting a hoity-toity after 10
I
years.
did, yes. My pinky is out
Whereas
all the
I
time.
did not evolve.
No.
Ryan's like, I drink beer.
Yeah.
It's got a Ghostbusters like cartoon on it, so I'm in.
So Ryan and I were having the conversation where vodka is just vodka. It's just alcoholic water. It doesn't matter unless you add a flavor to it.
Yeah, it's kind of neutral.
Tastes like floor shine.
Yeah, you have to mix it. End of story.
Absolutely.
It's the soy of alcohol. It takes on the flavor of whatever it's mixed with.
Yes. But gin.
I'm coining that.
Okay, fine. It's coined. Gin is interesting. Most gins obviously come off as juniper forward. That's what that smell is. This has in it obviously juniper, orange peel, lemon and lime peel, cinnamon, green cardamom, coriander seed, and kaffir lime leaves. Kaffir. Kaffir lime leaves.
Sure.
So, cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers. To your health and nakedness.
But especially the nakedness.
Ooh, yeah.
Woo. Smoother than a lot of gins.
Yeah, it's
I will
better
say
than
that.
Tanqueray because that's what the wife usually gets.
Ew, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Tangeray's rough.
Yeah. So that's what Sherry's been drinking.
That
with
was
Tara,
rough.
and that's why she's probably more.
Dude, it's
Oh, is that what it is? Well, that's funny because Sherry doesn't really like Tanqueray.
Tangeray's not
She
good.
prefers Hendrix and New Amsterdam and
fuck it
burns.
Beefeater, Bombay Sapphire.
Noelle's like,
Oh,
I
God,
like
Bombay
Tanqueray.
Sapphire?
She does. Well, if she likes gin, then she's gonna. I mean, but it's like beer, it's like coffee, it's like wine.
It is.
Everybody has their taste.
Yes.
So I get it.
And Jack's the only one
I'm
who
gonna
makes
water
it.
this down a little bit.
Yeah.
'cause,
Tell me
Oh,
how
you didn't do it all in one go?
No.
It's not meant to.
Ew. Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, I
well,
just
shit.
took it down.
Yeah, so did I. I thought we were literally like essentially
that's why.
doing
I took
shots.
like a small baby sip.
See, Jack's refined. He grew up rich.
Makes sense.
Okay, now I can do this.
Jack had
Kid had
gin
a
and
pool,
tonic. Gin and tonic.
drinks gin.
in his bottle.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Andrews makes it look. These guys getting all bougie.
I am bougie.
It's
You're
like-
lucky I didn't bring the whiskey tonight. Because then I get extra
Well,
boozy.
that I jump in. I'm weird in that way. In that when I do drink, it's hard liquor, like beer and everything. I can't handle.
But
But,
it's-
like
it's- Yeah.
I'll drink whiskey.
I mean,
or I'll drink
I know
tequila.
there's a certain gentleman at the other end of the table that if I had a peated whiskey, he'd start sniffing over here. So, yeah, see?
You're not wrong.
Do you want it? Do you want a little bit of gin or
would
no?
you like so?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it. Set him up, Andrew.
No problem.
We'll not talk about you for a couple of seconds.
Only a couple
anyway.
seconds.
Yeah, that's it. You
You
got
sick
7
motherfucker.
seconds. So anyway,
So my funny story.
yes,
Oh,
please.
yes.
Let's hear your funny story.
So
Enough-
with my
enough
dad's
about
backyard,
penises.
it's not just transforming into a giant cactus farm. A couple years ago, somebody was like on the run in the neighborhood. Like they just left a bar that was like the down the street, that River Rock,
Oh, yeah.
and they were like on the run. And he was like cutting through neighborhoods, and he cut through my dad's backyard. Now there's a bunch of fucking cactuses back there. My dad, because the kid ran and tried to kick the door or something, and he actually might have cut himself on one of them. There was like a hand blood stain on the white fence because this kid couldn't get out of my dad's yard.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. I thought he was going to get stuck to the cactus like Wile E. Coyote. I honestly was like, and they found him. He ran face first into the cactus.
Or he's he's got like the pads all over him and shit.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
he comes out looking like he just came from acupuncture. They pull off. He's got needles sticking out of
Yeah,
him.
he must have hopped over, cut his hand on something, kept running, couldn't get the gate open, and then just kicked the gate, and then just kept,
Why do we never shoot a sketch there? Because
I don't
the
know.
Old West theme is right. Why do we never come up with something like we need to do an Old West type thing back here?
We should.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's not too late. This is
No,
true.
it's
we
not.
we,
No,
we
it's
haven't
really
done.
His
We haven't,
backyard's still there.
we haven't done a sketch video in 8 years. I think it's high time.
And I've got my own guns now this time, so I may have to go over and talk to them.
Do you have like old timey guns?
I do. I have a
you?
revolver.
Okay, well that's good. That's all you
course
should
you do.
have. But
Fuck up.
Rootin'
probably
tootin'.
honorary redneck, except refined redneck.
I am
the
a
refined
refined-
redneck. That could be your other Snapchat show. Hello, welcome to the refined redneck. This is Metal_Drew,
I look at outhouse.
and yeah, like,
I look at outhouses.
today I come to you not from an outhouse, but from a distillery. Here I am. I'm gonna have.
Yeah,
some
you should
gin,
get that,
mix it with some lime seltzer.
that porta potty show on like HGTV. Like
You know, yeah.
Or Travel Channel.
Yeah,
They'll be
yeah,
all over
yeah.
that shit.
My bet.
They got a show for
I
everything
collect
on that
butterflies, and my husband reviews porta johns. Our budget is $5.2 million.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, I can't. Sherry always tries me to tries to get me to watch. I get so frustrated, I can't even speak. She tries to get me to watch House Hunters. I said it's literally the same thing. I guess the houses are nice to look at, but it's always the same.
Yeah.
Two underemployed people who are looking for a lot for an unrealistic budget.
Yeah.
I guess, well, we really like 5 bathrooms. What's your budget? It's like $2 million. It's like, where? Or I always look people looking for like houses in Manhattan. It's, nobody can afford those, right?
No.
Well, they have a special show for that. It's
Oh, do they?
$1 million listing or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like
so
the
that's
super rich people.
Where they only get penthouses.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's an apartment? Like, fuck.
I will say the Los Angeles one was funny just because the real estate values are, forget it. I mean, now, and frankly, it's interesting. That's been one of the interesting things to watch during the pandemic is a lot of people just leaving LA saying like, look, I don't know when I'm going back to work, or it's just too expensive to maintain here. I'm going elsewhere. So there's been a lot of, Moses, I left there before everything.
Well, I mean, and that goes for any kind of place like that, New York, New Jersey.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, a lot of people are leaving.
It's expensive to live in these places, and they're moving south or west or anything like that.
Right.
Because for the same amount of money, like, I spoke to the guys outside, last week when we were catching up, and I said that my wife and I just applied for a mortgage just to see where we're standing. Not that we're getting a house right now, and we, with our lower credit scores, were just approved for $300,000, a minimum of $300,000. Not that we want to use all of that, but still, that's a pretty good starting point.
Yeah, that's great.
But this is New Jersey. $300,000, you're still in a smaller house,
right?
As opposed to if you go to even Virginia. You can get like 1.5 acres and a nice like colonial and all this shit.
North Carolina.
Yeah, all this stuff.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Half of New Jersey. If they're not in Florida, they're going to North Carolina now.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
so isn't that where your brother is? Or is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
My brother-in-law is there now too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I get it. It's funny too, coming from the perspective watching Sherry specifically go through everything, whether it's watching these shows or just cruising Zillow,
Right.
like people do,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, people do.
And seeing that there are really nice, like there were a couple of homes she was looking at in like freehold with like newer houses, big yards for $700,000. Now, coming from Los Angeles native, who I tricked into moving to Jersey, but an LA native, where for her, she's literally has seen these houses in not only in her area close to the South Bay, but even in the Valley where it's more expensive where I lived, where there are houses that are 1.2 million that are 2 bedrooms and no driveway. You got to park on the street.
What?
Yeah, it's out of control.
So
for her,
like Manhattan prices kind of thing.
well, I've been saying for a while that L.A., San Francisco, and Manhattan are in a race to the bottom, even as far as the highest price of housing,
living,
which is crazy. And
it's just because of location. The house doesn't even have to be that nice.
No, well, that's exactly the case with these smaller houses.
We found some really nice houses when we were out in Los Angeles last
Jack,
time.
do you remember when we were walking through that neighborhood in Burbank when Chris left us for, I don't know what was happening, but it was
he went to work. We were going to go explore downtown.
Yeah. So just for shits and giggles, after we walked through that neighborhood and we were kind of gawking at these houses in this perfect neighborhood.
Right.
None of them were particularly dazzling. They're mostly
There was
one-story houses like mine. So I have a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom ranch.
Right.
Yeah.
And the same house in Burbank is like 5 times what I paid for mine here.
Exactly.
Even in New Jersey, as expensive as it is here.
Yeah.
Right.
The starting price for those ranches in Burbank was like $600,000.
Oh, yeah.
The cheapest.
For something similar to what you have.
And it's a fixer-upper.
Some of them were $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 for a fucking ranch.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, earthquake country, so there's no basements. So it's not as if you're getting a second floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
absolutely
it's
insane
crazy.
just because it is where it is.
But it's funny for her looking at what $700,000 can get you in New Jersey. Now, not that we have $700,000 to spend, nowhere near.
No.
But just the idea
in New Jersey, that's doctor houses.
Exactly. Well, and that's it.
That's Homedale area.
And people look at New Jersey as
like Rumson. Go down the streets of Rumson. How the hell does anybody afford those?
Rumson or Navasink River Road.
Yes.
And when I would end up door dashing in that area, holy shit.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I'd start out in Eatontown or Red Bank, and I'd end up in Rumson. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very
like some kid would answer the door, and I'm like, kid, you don't know what you have.
Yeah. Oh, my horse is in the back. What?
Yeah.
Like,
I just made $7 off this delivery.
And meanwhile,
Awesome.
this kid's literally never gone through a drive-through. He's always had food brought to him.
yeah. I made $7 by breathing.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Isn't $7 not the maximum too? It's like, you cheap fuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Oh god, Ryan and I need to do a separate show. That'll be forthcoming. Although that'll probably be a Zoom show in a couple of weeks. I'm assuming, but we got to just tell delivery stories because I have a shitload of them, including Uber time, and you do too.
Yeah.
So
Ooh, I'm excited
we're gonna
about
have to
this.
do that. Yeah, because there's a lot of funny stuff and a lot of frustrating situations, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a future show. I've been thinking about that for a while, actually. Like Ryan and I need to talk about that.
I'm in.
Maybe we get Corey in on it too, because Corey was asking me about DoorDash just for some extra money, and I was like, "Look, everybody should do it. It's voluntary. You sign on when you want to, make a couple extra bucks. Like especially now, it's worth it to have an option. Go out one night on a Friday night, make $60, and there you go."
There's a
He's
couple
really
guys.
enthusiastic about that too. We were
He
sitting
is.
and talking on the way home from the trip we took a couple weeks ago, and he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. Really think I'm going to do it."
It's good to have an option. That's why I told her, I was like, sign up for everything. Sign up for DoorDash, Uber, whatever. Like just the idea that you can work when you want and pick up a couple extra bucks when you need it. Yeah, why not? Especially because it's only getting more and more. It's only getting bigger here, frankly. It's more popular. It's getting utilized more, and especially in the last couple of months. Now, people who weren't previously using services like that.
I was one of those people.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially since DoorDash, specifically during the height of COVID, they gave the deliveries were free. Like you only paid for your food.
Yeah, and tip.
Well, yeah, and tip, yeah.
They basically
But, like,
waive delivery fees.
Yes.
Because public interest, which is great.
Exactly.
The
I mean,
idea
it's a good
that,
business model just
Totally.
to attract customers.
and just to get restaurants business too. Like I thought that
Yes.
was awesome because we had a thing for a while, and particularly during the short window we were getting the enhanced unemployment. Sherry and I, we said once a week we're going to order dinner. And it's going to be from mom and pop place. We're not going to order from any chains or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're going to check out some of these local restaurants because even though growing up in New Jersey, North Jersey is still, particularly earlier in the year, was still fairly foreign to me because my parents grew up there, but we didn't spend a lot of time there. We'd be at my grandmother's house and couldn't leave, so there wasn't a whole lot of getting to know the area. So I've done a lot of that in the last, let's say, year and a half, even prior to moving up there. So the idea of checking out some smaller places, we said, well, let's do that because they need, I mean, it sucks that chains like Fridays are closing a load of locations. Ruby Tuesdays might not make it out of this. Red Robin might not make it out of this. There are a lot of chain restaurants that aren't doing too well because obviously they make a lot more from the bar.
Seating,
Like, just think about that. Like the bar take alone is a huge chunk of that. And the fact that people haven't been until recently dining indoors again, that hugely impacts their money. I mean, I'm sure the expenses are a little less because you don't need the same amount of staff either if you're just doing takeout orders.
Staff or electricity and stuff like that.
They're still in the red.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
without a doubt.
Absolutely.
But we said, let's at least help some of the smaller places that might not survive this, that don't have, investors at a higher level that, like let's say a Chili's has or something, where we have no problem ordering from them once in a while, but we actually want to make a concerted effort. Like the idea, we're getting this extra money, let's put it back into the economy. Not like, we're so noble, but that's kind of the idea.
Right.
Like if you don't want the economy to fail, you need to help it along.
Right.
And
Keep
spend your money on
alive.
goods and services.
Small businesses need to stay alive. Yeah.
Totally. And it's hard enough for a small business. And I mean, was it like 70% the first 2 years go under? So I think restaurants specifically.
Restaurants are
I
horrible.
think it might be even higher than that for restaurants. But I mean, when times are, not necessarily flourishing, but just in average times, when things are kind of in flux economically,
right?
Restaurants have a hard enough time just trying to make it through those first 2 years. And we thought, well,
it's just funny because restaurants suffer, but it's interesting to me that as soon as breweries and distilleries were able to at least start delivery, because that was one of their big things.
Oh, yeah.
The breweries started delivery services. Cold Snack Stillhouse, their product is Muckley Eye. They actually, not only could you do curbside pickup, but they started doing mixed drink boxes.
Yeah.
So,
They had to get creative.
yeah. So like they, they have obviously their standards and whatnot, and they would sell you not only a full bottle of whatever the alcohol was, but all the ingredients to make at least 4 servings of, a Tom Collins or an old fashioned or whatever it was.
Right.
For only like $10 more. And like these are all, because of where they're located, they're right next to Delicious Orchards right there on 34. So like, you know exactly where the product is
There it
coming.
is.
Yeah. I get it. Seriously.
This guy's got a future. He's way on top of it. This guy Ming is all right. He's been pulling up stuff the entire time. By the way, we haven't been referencing it because we got our heads up our asses as usual. So, but
if you're local in New Jersey, if you're local to the Colts Neck area, I definitely recommend you go and check
and if you're not, take a day trip.
Yeah.
Because they're at least doing outdoor, right? Aren't they serving
Right now, it's
outdoors?
first come, first serve for outdoor
porch or whatever
and
it is.
indoor minimum capacity. And then right behind them is Source Brewing,
which is fantastic.
yeah. Phil and the guys.
Are they beer primarily?
They're beer. They're only beer.
Okay.
Phil, the owner, it's delicious stuff.
Yeah.
It really is.
And he's the guy that created the physics beer machine. He was a co-creator of that, where it uses you put the beer in and it basically stirs it up using sonic waves, and it gives it a foamier head.
Oh, that's why
it brings out some of the aroma.
Yes. He was saying that like when he pours something like a stout or something like that, it's more traditional in the respect of like, there's this whole thing where like if you have a Guinness and you're in Ireland, they pour it for you and then they let it sit. Because you're supposed to have like that head and the experience, and it's supposed to be like not lukewarm, but like not frigid,
like room temperature, almost.
So when he has a stout or a milkshake IPA or any beer that like somehow will be better with a head on it, it sits there. You're not just gonna, I'm going. Here's my seat. Like he does the process, you know, him and his bartenders.
And they do those like slow pour pilsners there, which are really good.
And you get like an actual stein. You can get like a traditional German stein there of whatever the beer is. It's a really.
Is it like Chili's where you get take the stein home?
Well, you can. Yes, you can buy the stein.
That is awesome.
And it's an old farmhouse, and he kept everything inside.
Far from Colts Neck.
No, you're not. You can go right down 34.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's an old farmhouse.
Are they open? Can we do a post-show party and invite Ming?
Well, not now.
Damn.
Yes.
But we'll have to plan ahead next time. I'll be like, dude, we're taking out for drinks.
Sunday? No. But it's an old farmhouse that he rebuilt, and he has all the history of the farmhouse there too. Like he didn't want to destroy it and say like, oh no, this is my brewery now. He's like, no, I'm going to preserve this and show you guys like this is what we came from. Inside's beautiful. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah. Wow, it looks good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're checking it out now. I'll have to plug some pictures into the video.
Please.
They've been doing online ordering of their can releases every Friday,
and it's gone by the 5-minute mark.
Not even
really. Oh, they're so fast.
Every Friday morning they release 2 or 3 beers. It goes live at 9 o'clock. 9:01, everything's gone.
I mean, could you bring in that? Could you bring in the inside view? The one that you can, like look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's the downstairs. There's an upstairs area
because that's a rural-ish area.
It's Colts Neck. It's farmland.
There's a lot of 34.
Yeah. And like I said,
they have like a little open rooftop area, and outdoor grounds.
And it's one of those things. As much as it still irks me, is you can bring your kids there, but they can't go upstairs.
Right.
They can only stay downstairs. And then
upstairs like an orgy.
Yes.
I just keep circling back to sex.
Kids.
I'm sorry. I don't drink alcohol.
As soon as you go upstairs, there's a red carpet and everything. And like they plan on doing like making the outside of it some kind of fun
podcast venue.
Yes, well that too. I wouldn't doubt that if we talked to Phil, if we talked to him and said, "Yo, we want to do a podcast here," he would be like, "All right, fine, upstairs."
We're getting the nod for Ming, apparently. So, What, do you know their policy on nudity?
God damn it, Chris!
Beer first.
Enough with the dicks. Enough with the tits. All right, well, talk about beer.
I'm sorry. All right, we'll do a co-ed show. Whatever it takes.
No, but what I mean, they wanted to like the land outside. They want to have the last I heard, and it probably changed. Like horseshoe pits. And, things like that. Like, have it as not so much an event place, but something that goes along with having a good beer.
They have the space for it.
They absolutely have the space for it. They can't, unfortunately, just like everything else in New Jersey, a brewery cannot have food served there because then you're considered a restaurant.
Shit.
So they have food trucks that splits between both the distillery and the brewery.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in downtown LA too. I don't know if they have those same laws.
Is right down the way.
Literally, you can walk.
Yeah,
but they're not allowed. The brewery and the food truck are not allowed to coordinate anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard about that because
Really?
you guys were going to
So they-
Icarus, right?
Yeah,
They used to be able to advertise what food truck would be there. They're
Yes.
not allowed to do that anymore.
Really?
But they could just show up
Is
then?
that the ABC then? Or
No, it's the restaurants. They're fucking pussies and they
Oh, that's
complain.
right.
that's
because-
what the big thing was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that exactly? How did that break down?
Breweries are trying too hard to be restaurants and not paying as much for their liquor license. Where
Yeah.
they can
Because that's
have
what it boils down to,
put
is
a
the liquor
sports
license.
game on the TV or have a live event,
Show or something like that.
Some
Yeah.
hippie with a guitar in the corner.
Yeah.
And why are you paying $1,000 for a liquor license where my bar is paying $1 million
Yeah.
for it, and you can do the same shit that I can? So the restaurant's called all.
Yeah, exactly. And most of the restaurants are fucking the chain restaurants. like
Right, yeah.
Fridays.
It's not even the same experience, though.
No,
if it's a
it's
food
not.
truck, it's not nearly the same as a sit-down restaurant like a Fridays, for the sake of
Yeah,
example.
no,
And
no
most-
brewery
and
is
most
asking to
brewery-
be a sit-down restaurant.
No,
Exactly.
not at all.
They
They want to
In
throw
fact-
a bowl
in
of
fact-
popcorn on the table.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And
that's
in
all they
fact,
want.
most of them don't want you
It's
to
just
eat
so-
inside.
Yeah.
You know?
It's insane. Every brewery we went to on like my bachelor party or when I go to Pennsylvania, it's just, whatever. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no rules anywhere else.
Right.
It's just
Hell,
here.
Treehouse, which we're indulging in right now, has a fucking pizza oven outside.
They do.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like
Yeah,
a
this outdoor
coal-fire
area
pizza
that's
iron.
gorgeous.
Oh,
And
it's
the
gorgeous.
alcohol thing.
Yeah.
But there is a place coming to where I live in Aberdeen, which is the
I'm
Aberdeen,
so fucking excited.
which I'm like
what is this?
really excited about because it's like a classic movie. Ryan, you explain it because you know the ins and outs of this. I go and just take pictures like it's almost ready.
Yeah, we're gonna go. It's called
is this?
Alternate Ending. It's took over the Bowtie Cinemas.
Oh,
in,
yeah,
Aberdeen. So they got a special
is-
license, and
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, it's right next to the bagel
right
place
above
I go
it's
to.
brewery, full bar, movie theater.
Oh, man.
and
Yeah, look at that
restaurant.
tap room. That looks awesome.
Yeah,
So they got
Wow.
Yeah.
y'all
That
are
looks
coming
like,
up to me
have
from now.
you ever
They
heard
got
of
a-
Tommy's Tavern and Tap in Freehold?
There's actually one
Seabright.
There's in
too.
Seabright. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
the one.
Have you been there?
No, but there's
I
one.
picked up food from there for DoorDash.
There's one opening up, replacing a Fridays up the street from me.
It definitely
Ooh.
needs to replace a Fridays.
I'm like literally.
Can we go?
I mean, we could walk to it. So absolutely, from my
It's
place. Yeah.
very good.
I've never eaten there, but the food looks and smells
just
so
looks
good.
amazing.
Every time
They're-
I go in.
I have.
They're working on
I
it right
can
now.
say
Yeah.
that I have eaten there. The one in Freehold on Route 9.
Look at this movie theater.
Which one's? Oh, this is the alternate ending.
Yeah,
That's
and
fucking awesome.
Oh, so
Tallulah's
wait, they're keeping the theater, so the theater's actually going to be a thing too.
They've
Oh, yeah.
converted the
They're gonna
theater.
It looks
show-
like,
they're
it's
gonna
got
show
kind of
movies.
interesting.
Oh, so they're like taking a page out of the Alamo Draft
Yeah,
House
it's
book
a
almost.
small.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a small
That's awesome.
4-screen movie theater before that. It was like one of those bow
Yeah.
tie cinemas that. There's one in Red Bank.
There's
So it's
one in
like,
Montclair too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't think they're doing movies yet for obvious reasons.
Probably, yeah.
But when they do, they're going to do like classic movies. They're going to do kids movies.
There's going to be events probably.
They're going to do events
That
like
sounds
that.
really good.
So they got a
Sounds
special
awesome.
license that apparently there are only about 20 of them in the state of New Jersey that allows them to do all this stuff.
Have movies.
There are
and
interesting alcohol laws
The
here.
ABC
Like-
in New Jersey is weird.
Well, I mean, like when I worked for Whole Foods, there were only 2 Whole Foods in the state of New Jersey that could sell alcohol.
Mhm.
And the one I worked at was not one of them. They were both in North Jersey. One of them is nearby here in Red Bank,
Right.
and the other one's in Paramus. And I thought that was so strange. I'm like, why of all things? Like it's a retailer. I mean, every ShopRite can literally have a liquor store attached to it.
It's
That's
separate,
ShopRite
though.
liquor.
But it's got to
Yeah.
be separate.
It's
Right.
separate.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, like
so
the
weird.
Wegmans
Like,
over
what-
here in Ocean, everything's separate.
Yeah, like
Every
I
Wegmans
just,
we've been to.
I just don't.
Tacos.
I just don't know. Oh, well, now I'm in.
Yeah, so
and Nooch.
Real quick, they
I see that literally on the menu is Nooch.
they have some kind of loophole where they can sell food at this brewery.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
technically they're considered like a pub or
Yeah, it's
bar.
like
Gastro
advertised
pub
all
or
over the
something like
windows.
that.
Like we have that Tallulah's Pizza, and we have
which
all
is
these.
Asbury Tallulah's Pizza is going to be making
Vegan
the food.
butter, nutritional yeast,
Oh my God.
sea salt.
And when is
I
this?
mean, I'll have
Very
it anyway.
soon,
It sounds
apparently.
good.
Is it?
Like,
Yeah, it looks just about right. There's people lining up around.
They
the-
opened yesterday, formally.
Yeah,
It was like-
really?
They did soft openings before that, but yesterday was.
People.
Oh,
were
they
they
probably
lining
did
up.
like
Yeah.
reviewers and stuff like that for the
I was like,
soft
it's like
openings.
Black Friday where they're lined up 4 days in advance.
It was around the building because I started following
Really?
the Instagram page once Ryan showed me that, and it was around the whole building, in the
Apple
parking
cider
lot, and everything
donut.
else.
They
See,
did their first can release already, sold out of everything.
I just
So
gained 3 pounds.
I'm so excited.
I'm
And the dude who was there when I was going to get bagels, who walked out to get stuff, had a Ghostbusters mask on. So I was like, "Oh, we're in good company."
See, I'm all for stuff like that happening because there's, particularly where we grew up. Like I was talking to my cousin who lives in North Jersey as well. Like he and I hung out a lot since I moved up there, and he likes going to all these hole in the wall places. Like he never goes to Applebee's or Fridays or Chili's
No.
or anything like that. But down where we grew up, that's what there is.
Yeah.
I mean, there probably are some hole in the wall places that we just don't
but
know
not
about.
nearly as much as
But
North
that's
Jersey.
where we went. So I like the idea that there are places branching out like this because frankly, that was one of the appeals to me when I moved back to Los Angeles 8 years ago was okay, there's a lot more variety out here, and I don't just need to eat at chain restaurants. Like one of the places I'll recommend to the West Coast audience, which we've talked about in previous years, but Golden Road Brewing in Glendale, on the Burbank-Glendale border,
they're nationwide
awesome.
now, though. You can get
no, I know you get distribution, but like breweries
but to
aren't
go to the
elsewhere
place.
yet. Yeah, like the
That was a
brewery
good beer.
itself,
That was
because
really good.
they did have food too. I mean, it was like appetizer type stuff.
Again,
It was
different.
But that's what you want. That's what I want.
Exactly.
Even
Like,
Dogfish Head.
I don't want a brisket, when I sit down.
Yeah.
Even Dogfish Head, you go down to Delaware, and they have a full gastropub separate from the brewery.
Right.
That you go and like, if you're a real beer snob like Ryan, that's where they'll have what's called the scratch beers, like the one-offs that they're testing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And not only do they test the beers and they say, oh, this is that, they also cook the food with the beers too, like whether it be a mustard or some kind of sauce for their sausage.
BJ's Brewhouse does that too.
Where's that?
That's
Toms River?
Toms River.
Toms River, and there's one in Teterboro up by me.
Okay.
Which is cool.
But either way,
I wanted to go to too, but I heard it's like sold out every time you like. But the traffic to get to the Toms River one was like.
Oh yeah, it's
Because
back when it was open.
We didn't go for like the first 2 months it was open.
Yeah.
Because it was just
Circling back to Tommy's Tap House.
We got takeout from.
We went there.
Near me. Couple
Number one, our server was awesome. He really was invested in his job and really actually like took care of you. Not that I'm saying all servers don't, but like this guy was like, literally taking a chair from another table, sitting down and talking with us.
Oh, awesome.
About like what the food is. He's like, you ever have the wings? I'm like, no, I'm going to have the, it was like pork belly, like little cubes of pork belly with a Thai sauce or something on it.
Nice.
Oh my God, it was candy. It was absolute candy. Like this can't be nutritious at all, but it's fucking delicious.
That's awesome.
They have in that one specifically, they have a sushi bar.
Wow.
They have brick oven, I believe a brick oven pizza, and their main thing is their wings, which I didn't have. I had a burger there, which was great.
Shame. Ring the bell.
I know.
No
Just
kidding.
start ringing it.
Yeah.
But they do change their menu, like seasonally.
Awesome.
Okay.
And they had a really good beer list, like stuff that obviously the local stuff, which is always great because we have some really good breweries here in New Jersey.
Yeah.
But they got some New York stuff, they got some Pennsylvania stuff. So like they stretch out just a little bit. You still can't get your Trillium down here. I'm sorry, Ryan.
Yeah, I know.
Is that Massachusetts?
Yeah,
or something?
yeah. It's a really.
Sounds about right. I think I know that name because I think that's
just
one of the
from
places
us.
you two went. Yeah.
Oh, it was. Oh, it's heaven for beer guys.
Yeah.
Did you, since you've been to Boston a couple of times, and I completely forgot this last
Go
week's
ahead.
show.
Go ahead.
Did you ever go back to that restaurant we went to with the cinnamon ice cream? When we all went to Boston together?
No, I did
That's
not go
it.
back.
Picho's the name.
I went to Yard House when we were there last.
Oh my God.
Wait, hold on. Here's the better story. So the last time I went to Boston, it was a Freemason trip. So we had about 40 guys with us. All right. 40 mixed, so we had guys and their wives. And I had to plan this. I had to plan this. All right. Like I had to put everything together.
We can do that here. I'm not going to Boston for that shit.
Anyway. So I planned, I'm like, all right, the second day we get there, we're going to go to the Yard House for dinner. All right. And it was one of the times at Fenway where they were playing, where the Red Sox were playing that night.
Oh.
And they got beat 11 to something by, I believe it was the Phillies.
Boo.
Did you artists have a bomb shelter to hide in?
Because the games are on in the restaurant. And I'm like, oh, we are not getting out of here.
Because Boston and Philly are two of the most aggressive
awful
sports
states
fans.
in sports.
And never mind the fact that when you drive in Boston, it's like someone took spaghetti and just threw it on the wall and said, okay, that's our roadmap.
Yeah.
It's fucking horrible.
It was odd driving around there.
There's not much better things in Philly. We've been to Philly a couple of years ago. We went with Noel and Jen to that thing. We're like, where the fuck do we park?
Oh God, I've gotten lost in Philly every time I've gone there. I always had, even with the GPS, even in the GPS era, still have had so much trouble going through Philly that it's.
But Yard House was very good, and like
there's one about a half hour from
Beer list is
it's in New York.
Yeah,
but-
that too.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great.
Yeah, we went. That was a good time. That was when I moved in, actually.
Yeah, Yard House is very good.
They have like 100 beers on tap.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And then you have they still have the whalebone, as they used to be called, of drinks.
Yeah.
Ryan will never get over that first time we went down to Long Beach in 2016 when you guys came out and visited me.
Take me
because it's on the water in Long Beach.
Oh God!
And we were seated outside, and Ryan's
it was heaven for Ryan.
Yeah.
I mean, the beer menu is the same size as the food menu, so he's looking like I just don't know where to begin. Like he was
We almost got
I don't
hit by
smoke,
that,
but I would have loved like a cigar. Be like,
Yeah,
this is just
we almost
just
got
like chill out.
we almost got pummeled
By that Pokemon
Go. We almost got trampled to death.
Yes, you told me
That was
about
when
that.
it was like at its peak.
We were
yeah.
like, it was like the scene in Jurassic Park with the Gallimimus was over the hill. We're like, shit.
And
we
I was
just-
like waiting to hear like gunshots, but then I realized everyone was smiling, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
it was a very weird feeling to be standing on, I guess, kind of sort of a boardwalk, but not really.
Yeah.
But to be standing there and literally see a crowd running towards you, it was like, oh my God. And not knowing why. That was a
because
weird
there's just
thing.
water
The
where they
flash
were
mob.
running to.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. Oh,
Yeah, like there's nothing there. Like they weren't looking for us. That's for damn sure.
They just had their phones.
And then I
just
think
like,
I heard the name of a Pokemon that I recognized, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I got a
And then it
Squirtle.
was. Yeah, exactly.
It's like
That's
my
what it
brothers
was.
used to play this all the time. I recognize that
Something,
name.
yeah. I know those syllables.
All
I
night
was
long.
like, I was hoping they were big podcast fans. Like, wow, they see me and Sherry out, and they're like, hey, look who's here.
Yeah,
And then they see these other two, and they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the
It
case.
wasn't that.
Yeah,
No.
they were looking for pixels.
Yes.
That's what was going on.
Pixelated creatures.
And
Pocket
we would
monsters.
watch them running back and forth all night when we were sitting
yeah,
at
it was
the
Your
table.
girlfriend yelled at them too.
It was a fun spectator
Get that
sport.
Pokemon.
Yeah, she was. Like, get that Pokemon. Get that Pokemon.
Oh, God.
That was a
Sassy
great
black
night.
woman.
That was fun.
Oh man.
That was a fun night, but you'll never get over that. Like nothing will ever improve on that Yard House experience. And it was just a fun night overall. But I feel like you really just
I was in
you
heaven.
couldn't believe it.
The
It's
Yard House was
beautiful
fun. We went to Trillium, the Canton brewery, because there's 4 in Boston. And you can't buy their beers in stores. You have to go to them.
Yeah,
And I had they named it Personal Submarine.
Mhm.
It was a quadruple IPA.
Wow.
It tasted like orange juice. Now, for
I don't
those
picture that.
that's-
tasting
yeah,
like
that-
orange juice.
that's
I
so-
picture it tasting
so-
like,
tough
to
nope.
pull off.
And Jack falls through the table.
yeah, it's Personal Submarine because you're fucking sinking real
Yeah.
quick.
those breweries are able to make those like 11-12% beers that you don't notice the booze at all, and it's fucking dangerous.
Bro,
It
so
tastes
what's
like
interesting
juice.
with IPA at least is, the more like you see double, triple IPAs, the higher it goes, the less it tastes piney. It's still there, but like the less it is, it's not as abrasive.
Yeah.
So this is a quadruple IPA. So it's probably starting at like 13% alcohol, and it's Trillium. So they're the ones that really pioneered the Northeast IPA, the creamy, cloudy, milky style IPA that fills your mouth style.
Juice bomb.
Juice bomb. Yes, that's the word.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right. That I know. I've heard Ryan say.
Okay, all right. So they're the ones that really pioneered it. Them, Treehouse, and a couple other Boston area breweries. Dude, it was, and they serve you in a goblet and whatever else, and it's just like, I had one.
Yeah, you must have been a laugh riot on that.
I
trip.
wasn't driving. I didn't care.
I'm so sorry we missed that. Now we got to go to a couple of these joints around
Give me
here.
that juice.
And
Bro.
you plan on not going home and not driving that night.
Yeah,
and,
no, I need a DD.
and that'll be some more bonus stuff for the fans. Is Blackcraft? Is that a
No, this
is
is
that a
just
brewery or something?
No, this is just a t-shirt manufacturer.
Oh, okay. I was just because it sounds like one.
Des Fafara from Devil Drive, a bunch of metal guys
Ah,
wear it.
okay. Well, see that makes sense too.
Yes.
Brother Des Fafara, excuse me.
I know the wrestler Seth Rollins wears that.
no
all the
kidding.
time,
Actually,
so.
he has a
Coffee place like that.
Well, he has a collaboration with them.
Yeah.
Wow, we should certainly span the gamut this week, right?
Yeah, we
run the gamut. We did it. Sex and booze.
Yeah, we have no attention span. Sorry.
What else is there?
It just fits in with the rest of the culture.
But I think there's a lot less nervous energy and a lot less like there was last week. Last week particularly you guys, were very pent up, but we also haven't seen each other. I forgot to mention this actually last week. Didn't really think about it until, I did think about it in the parking lot, but didn't really verbalize it till afterwards. That last week was actually the first time the 4 of us were all together in about 2.5 years, which is insane to kind of think about, because initially I thought it was almost 3 years, because the week after Jack's wedding, which we were all a part of, we went to see The Last Jedi together. That was our groomsman thank you gift from Jack. And I thought that was the last time. But when Sherry and I came back here in spring, it was end of May, I think, of 2018.
Little beach house.
Yeah, we rented the little house that we were staying in, and that's when we announced we were moving back to Jersey, and her for the first time, and everybody was there for that. But I still thought, damn, that was 2.5 years ago. Like we've been together in different combinations since, but we just thought, man, that's astonishing. That's actually been that long since the 4 of us have gotten together. So that also makes sense why it was borderline manic last week, where it was just like, the four
We're
guys
sorry,
yelling
Mike.
over the top of each other. Yeah. And everybody who just listened and didn't watch the audio. And like, oh my God, this is too much. But
Yeah.
still good to be back. And we got another one next week.
Yes.
So, of course, you can tune in, eventually, on the YouTube channel. That'll be available Mondays as well. Subscribe on the usual podcast resources. And, of course, you can find the video version of this show and others if you go to the Half-Assed Media YouTube channel. And you just search Chris Aballo's Podcast Experiment, or the links are chrisaballo.com. And in the meantime, you can follow Andrew on Instagram and, for some reason, Snapchat at metal_Drew. You can follow Jack on Instagram. A frog in my throat all of a sudden.
Now.
A gin drunk frog. Well, that's why I'm wrapping up. I'm like, I feel like I'm running out of track.
I got no more liquid death.
Guys, it's strong. I'm dehydrating. Let's wrap it up quick. You can follow Jack on Instagram at JacksonFigure1985 and JackWagon85 on Twitter. You can follow Ryan on Instagram at Honey I Drunk the Beers.
For the next 5 days until he deletes it.
Yeah, it'll be a little longer than that.
And
an extension.
I'm here for a while.
he is, well, now that we're doing this, he's going to be a little more active.
Right,
he's
right,
like, oh
right.
shit, hang on. I got some Ross Brewing to talk about.
Yeah.
And you actually can follow him on Twitter at Tagsonian. He does tweet once in a while. He twaddles or twats.
Yeah,
once in a
I
while.
deleted Twitter.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, I'm off of it. It's poison.
Okay, well, never mind.
Absolutely.
Well,
You're a better man than the rest of us.
like I said, if it all disappeared tomorrow, I can't say
It's absolute poison. I
But
can't do it anymore.
I get it. Okay, so Honey I Drunk the Beers on Instagram. You can follow him and his wife Jen in their adventures in the land of hops and lactose. And not bad, right?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I was
actually.
afraid I was going to fump for a round to find something, but it actually worked out pretty well. And you can follow me on Twitter at Chris Aballo and at Chris Sells Out on Instagram, and follow the show at Cape Pod on Twitter and Instagram. And again, please subscribe. Please give the show 5 stars. Share it with friends, all that good stuff. If you watch the videos, I know it's redundant, but please like and subscribe, to the YouTube channel. And, give the show the thumbs up, because everything's about the algorithms. It'll get recommended if you watch it and you give it a thumbs up. And that is the whole point. And we'll be back next week here at Shared Universe for yet another episode. So until then, for Andrew, Jack, and Ryan, this is Chris Aballo, and this was yet another experiment.
Hey, where the hell is that Peter Griffin? He said he'd give me $100 if I took off all my clothes off.